You can't just purely label it on the recruitment team. The recruitment team clearly has a job to do, like we all have a job to do.
To do. Brendan Rodgers, guys, he's trying to defend the board. We're trying to appease the fans, and it's just not really working, if we're being honest. He was in his press conference, he's trying to half defend what the board did, but also stick up for the fans. And I think what the case is, Brendan Rodgers has come back to Celtic. He said he was going to act Billy Big Balls, but the reality is, he's the highest paid manager. He's there, he's lapping up the money, and probably still thinks the Celtic can win the league, even though he did promise strength.
I would go with sports thinking we maybe could be a little braver in terms of bringing in another level of player.
And that was a particular choice of words there, that Brendan Rodgers has essentially said, we've signed 2 players and they're pish. Normally, managers would go about this a different way. They would go around, we didn't bring in as many as we would want. Now here, it's no delusion or illusion that Adam Ador ain't good enough up front. Every Celtic fan knows that. Pretty much every fan of Scottish football knows that he's not the best signing Celtic could have made. But it's weird for the club and Brendan Rodgers to essentially just come out and throw the 2 new signings under the bus. And here, maybe you could admire the honesty, because he simply said there that the quality has been lacking in the 2 signings. Now, say Celtic brought in a striker that was great. Like Sidney van Hooijdonk, I'm not going to pretend that guy was, the next big thing, but a lot of people rated him a lot more than this guy. And say they brought in a well more thought of winger than Nicholas Kuhn. Would Celtic fans be ecstatic, happy with that? Probably not, because you still would have had a weak goalkeeper, left back, and other positions lacking a bit of depth, i.e. centre back, because you wanted to let out Gustav Lagerbielke. Because of Carter Ficker's continuous injury problems in that position, you couldn't. But Rodgers has simply come out and said the quality even that we have brought in ain't good enough, so I can understand Celtic fans' opinion, which is a bizarre thing to say. And it's weird, you hear Adam Ador talking, he was on the phone with Rodgers, and it's we both agreed that it was a good move for both the club and myself in order to fire us towards a cup and a league. It's just weird. From Brendan Rodgers, it's half in, half out. It's like Opie in season 1 of Sons of Anarchy. You can't live half in or half out.
But we also want to be brave enough to hang our hat on a player who's already made.
So Rodgers talking about he doesn't mind going for the model of buying a player with bags of potential and selling them, but he says he would like the club as well to dive into the market of a ready-made player. You've seen in the summer they were linked with Daniel Podence from Wolves, and that would have cost them 12 million. And I don't think we should live in a world where a 12 million signing for the old firm, but in this case Celtic, should be unthinkable. But it almost is unthinkable, and they've happened in the past. In terms of Celtic, it's happened more recently with Edward. I believe that was around 12 million. So it's not like these things are, freak instances, man. They can happen, but hopefully, as the years go by, Scottish football, but then it's a tough one because the English market is only going to get more inflated. It's you look at England now, right? And, you see players who are not worth 100 million go for 100 million. See, in 10, 20 years' time, what's there more chance of? Those players being worth 200? Or Rangers or Celtic being able to pay 20 million for a player? I'll tell you what's more likely. The Premier League getting duds for 200 million. Honestly, that's what I think. I think Scottish football's being left behind, but all you hear about is the Celtic war chest. And Celtic didn't do themselves any favours. Neither did McGregor or Rodgers. They said before this window that, 3 or 4 key players, it's going to be a big January for us, and then they just fell flat on it. I just don't understand that. Why you would hype it up and then just completely fall flat on it. It's like Rangers as well to a degree. Instead of pretending that the window's been great, I would just appreciate if come out and said, well, you know what, right? In an ideal world, we could have got a striker, but we've already got 4 at the club. It's just a shame that 2 are injured, and with the wage bill and all that good stuff, we can't exactly bring another one in, even though that would be bullshit. Is it bullshit? Just tell us the real reason. That's what fans want, transparency, not Brenda's big nose.